Not the screen.
Hi y'all, I'm Hannah.
Hi, I'm Ann.
Hi, I'm Kayla.
Hi, I'm Marie, and we are coming to you live from LivingFelt because it's
Happy Woolly Wednesday!
Hey everybody, happy Wednesday. We hope you can see us right now because we have a brand new video set up that we've been playing with all morning. So we hope we're coming to you live. If you are brand new, hey, go ahead, hit the heart button and say hi and where you are from. We're here in Central Texas where it's, 120?
Yeah, it feels like it.
At least.
We are in the dead of summer, even though it's August, and catalogs are showing like sweaters and stuff. It's really hot here, but we're all safe and tucked inside, and we're going to have a play day. So we're going to say hi to a few people, and then the fairies are going to show you some super fun stuff. So thanks for being here, y'all. We're going to get started. Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining us. We are LivingFelt based here in Central Texas. We have friends all over the world. You probably see them checking in and saying hi. So I'm going to say hi to a few people also. Just say hi and where you're from. This is our live show. We do it once a week and it's interactive. So chime into the conversation, bring forward your ideas. Your name will go into our magic bowl and 3 people will win prizes at the end of the show, so that's always fun. And ask questions. If we can't answer your question on the show, we will try and get to it after the program. But let me say hi to a few people here. I know Ann's seeing some people check in. Who do you have, Ann?
We've got Jane in Minnesota, Mary Ann in Mississippi, Sharon in New York, Joan right up the road from us in Dallas.
Oh, so sweet. Hi, gals. Thank you all so much for being here. And I see Wyoming and Idaho, Cherie in Washington, of course. There's Judy and Vicky, Juliet. Oh, and Sammy in the Netherlands. Hi, y'all. Thank you so much for being here. So if this is your first time watching our show, feel free to say, hi, I'm new. You will see that we have lots of friends on here, and everybody joins in our group called LivingFelt Friends. So we'll post a link to that at the end of the show. We hope that you'll join us because everybody shares tips, ideas, techniques all week long.
Alrighty,
What do you
we've got a lot of folks posting that they just lost audio.
Oh, well, it might be the, let me see here. Our audio is on and checking, and pull up your headphones there and see if you can hear me. And it might be Facebook also.
I can hear you.
Okay, Ann says we have audio, and would you check on your phone too? We are recording this, and it may be that the Facebook stream is dropping in and out. We had a pretty good connection when we started.
It's the Facebook stream. It's dropping in and out.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to carry on and record the show, and hopefully it will right itself because we're showing stable right now. So we are going today, a couple of weeks ago, I shared with y'all my FIBER MISH MOSH trees. They're super chunky and funky. And what I'd like to do is show you how I made these today. And we're going to make some FIBER MISH MOSH. And then we're going to look at a few different ways you might use this technique to get a little bit of detail into your work while also being somewhat vague. So we're going to jump into that, and before we get started, the fairies are going to show you some of the fibers that you might think about for doing projects like this. So who's up first? Kayla is up first. Thanks y'all for being here.
Hi everybody, I'm showing some of our awesome green luster fibers today because if you live in Texas, our trees stay green pretty much all year round. So here I have got some Tussa silk in leaf, some sari silk waste in olive, some silk hankies right here. They're both silk hankies. This one is sage and this one is evergreen. Here we have some neps in kiwi and some of our awesome hand-dyed wild vine locks. Well, yeah, lots of fun to add really cool textures to anything you're working on. All right, and I think Miss Hannah is coming up next to show us something.
Hey everybody, how y'all doing? So today I'm showing a little bit more MC1. If y'all haven't noticed, it's kind of my thing. So this is going to be one of our studio packs. This is going to be our Scenic Vista studio pack, which is really great for doing landscapes. It comes with browns, greens, and then a blue in there too. So in this round, because they do vary from round to round depending on our stock, this round is going to contain pecan, dark chocolate, clay, bamboo, leaf, and winter blue. So it's a great little assortment, especially for the 2D needle felting. You really don't need a ton of wool. So the studio packs are a great way to get a variety of colors and just a little bit of a smaller quantity. So that's super fun. I hope y'all enjoyed. And next we got Miss Ann.
Hi friends, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm going to show some of the embellishment fibers in summer tones that we'll be working with today. Starting right up here, we have got pumpkin silk hankies. This is sunshine tassa silk, saffron wool nets. Right here is marigold viscose top, saffron silk hankies, passion wool nets, saffron sari silk waist. This is pumpkin wool nets, and this bright yellow right here is sun wool nets. The gorgeous luscious locks right here are autumn ember.
Maureen says, those are yummy. And Marianne says, love those colors. Tara says, so pretty. Fall colors, love. Someone earlier said they were doing a landscape, so I guess they needed the Scenic Vista.
Oh, fun.
Somebody else says, bad Facebook.
Yeah.
It might be finicky today. And Marilyn in the UK says it's working fine there. So.
Oh, good.
Lois Walden says, how do you guys come up with all these names?
Oh my goodness. I'm not sure, but we sure have fun doing it. We like it.
Marceline says hi from the UK. That is so sweet. Cool. Well, thank you gals for showing those. Thank you, Anne. You can leave those there. I'll probably pull from those. Aren't those fairies magic? I know. And hey, you know what? We want to say congratulations to our friend Jenny Varnes Doyle, who just had a brand new baby. Very exciting. And for y'all who are just joining us, make sure you check out our group, LivingFelt Friends, here on Facebook. And if you're watching the replay on YouTube, welcome. Hit that subscribe button. Today we are looking at FIBER MISH MOSH. FIBER MISH MOSH. And what Anne just showed you and Kayla showed you in the beginning is what I use to make FIBER MISH MOSH. Let's just hold this up one more time. This was just a tree I made with a bit of FIBER MISH MOSH. And let me see a round of hearts for anyone who likes to indulge in a bit of binge watching Bob Ross. All hail the king, Bob Ross. I love the way when Bob Ross is painting that he can just change his brush type or brush stroke, or even the way he loads his palette brush or the way he loads his brush in order to apply the illusion of variety and texture into his paintings. And we kind of have a challenge with that with fiber. We always tend to blend it all together. So I've been playing with ideas that we can get a bit of texture and separation and dimension, especially maybe in a landscape or nature type scene, by using something like this that I'm just calling FIBER MISH MOSH. So you get a nice variety, and that's what we're going to look at today. So just a second here, we're going to turn down good, people say they like them some Bob Ross. Very cool. So thank you all for being here. We are going to turn down. I'm going to show you just a little background that I made to work on today's project. And let me see if I can do that right now. There we go. We should be right side up. Okay, cool. Right here I have a little more MC1 to show you, so I'm going to pull that in. I have a little picture I'll just put that down for a second. This is nothing more than a little draft of a background that I made today for us to look at maybe using some fiber mishmash with. And this is just all our MC1 batting. So to make this picture, some of the colors I used are our cotton white. I used carnival blue. Carnival and Caspian blue. I used those two guys together. I used a bit of evergreen on the darkest parts and some spruce, which I didn't bring in, but I also used leaf, and I used a bit of buttercup yellow. So that's just an example of some of the colors that I used in this, and I didn't go overly complicated. And look, it's not, this ain't no Bob Ross, right? I'm not trying to represent that, but this is just a little quick background that I made for us to maybe play with some fiber mishmash. And Anne's going to interrupt me anytime with things that you might want to say or contribute and chime in with. And I'm going to grab these greens over here. Okay, so here's the greens palette that the gals brought in. And to make fiber mishmash, I use whatever I want from what we call our bling fibers, along with some MC1 batting. And this is my coloring box. Let me see a round of hearts for anyone who just like felts in front of the TV, or for me that's Netflix. If you felt in front of Netflix, I'd love to know. That's what I do. I kind of watch Netflix and
strong round of hearts.
Okay, yeah. That has become my TV. So this is my coloring box, which is just like odds and ends and bits and bobs that I pull from and don't want to put away, and then so this kind of sits in my lap while I'm felting. Now, to make a fiber mishmash, you want to start with some wool. You've got to have some kind of wool, and I'm using MC1 because that's going to help anchor down the other bling. And all I'm doing is pulling off, you can make yours in whatever tones you want. I'm just going to mix up a whole bunch of greens together. And you want to pull off some little bits so that these are going to help anchor down the other fibers. This is a sea green that I'm putting in now, ocean green I think we call it. And let me see, I'll put in some, this is spruce, a very dark green. And y'all just chime in with thoughts, or maybe you have an approach that's kind of like this too. We're just going to add a little mishmash to this little landscape in the greens, like bushes and stuff. Here's the light. Let's drop in some light greens in there, just a little bit, and maybe even a little bit of tiny bits of yellow. And who knows how much is going to show. So it's just like a little potpourri pot. I'm going to drop in a couple of neps in here. My phone's on. Yeah.
Kelsey shares, oh my goodness, all those colors.
Yeah, so you can't get this wrong, by the way. You can make a great big pot and come back to it later. Now here's the sari silk waste. So this stuff is really kind of fun if you've never played with it. It's super stringy, and you get a whole bunch in a bag. So one bag is going to last you a long time. And what I will do is just chop this right in here. So for this little segment, in addition to Bob Ross, I'd like to thank Moy McKay, because I got Moy McKay's first book years ago, and I confess that I was one of those people who would never cut my fibers before her. And now I'm like, why not? Why not? So here's a hanky. Hankies are cocoons that have been cocoons from a silkworm that have been stretched into a square. And to separate them, you just kind of try and find one and pull it off. Now, once you make this up, you can save it in a baggie or something if you have a whole bunch left. But look, don't be afraid to cut up those hankies too. All we want is some little variety in texture and color at the same time. So that's why I'm also going to add some shiny bits. Now, Anne, is this the viscose?
It is. That is viscose top in leaf.
Viscose and Tessa will seem very similar. I think viscose is a little bit shinier, and I think viscose seems a little more coarse. Now, you may not want to make a whole mishmash like this if you're trying to make grass or something that you want to all stand up straight. This is more an approach if you want to make bushes, trees, leaves on a tree, you know, something where you just don't really care. You might want to make a flower garden. So this is really for when you're willing to give up a little bit of control. And I'm going to add some locks too. Now, these are just a variety of locks. Here, I'll just turn this around for a second. These are from our Wild Vine collection. We usually vary the breeds in there. And with this, like this cluster is not an entire bag. We just couldn't fit it all on our little plate. Interrupt me with some questions, Anne.
Is the background needle felted or wet felted?
This? Oh, this is just needle felted. And it's just draft, by the way. Like, it really all needs to be punched down more. So this is just needle felted onto 100% wool felt sheets. And I just spent a little bit of time doing that. So that's just an example. And I'm going to try and pull in another example here in a minute besides this one. Now look, you may not even like this approach, but maybe it'll give you an idea for something completely different. I never really cut my locks before making the fiber mosh. And what inspired it for me was wanting to make a tree with falling leaves without having to micromanage all those little tiny leaves. I just didn't want to have to do that. So now with this, you can decide what way you want to take that color, if anything. And maybe what we want to do is just make some bushes right here in the foreground. Let me get a big piece of foam here and get us all together. How are we doing, Anne?
We're doing good. Someone said that they tried this for wet felting but haven't tried it for needle felting yet.
Oh yeah, it is fun to do for wet felting too. Yes, I like to do this for wet felting. I'll get myself straight here. Here we go. Okay, can y'all see okay? Feel like we're good? Do I need to zoom in at all? Let me see if that would be helpful. I'm going to come in just a little bit, and I'm going to go ahead and just put my fiber mosh right here. I call it mosh, but I looked up mosh today in the dictionary, aka Wikipedia, and it said that was dancing, which I am familiar with. I've been in a mosh pit or two, believe it or not. And with my dear husband is washing, especially when he was in a band called Radio Outlaw. Oh yes, Psychobilly. Those were the days. I was probably older than you, Anne, in that mosh pit. Oh yes, those were the wild times. Okay, so this is my fiber mishmash. I better call it mishmash. And this is just an idea for, like, maybe what you're trying to get is a cluster of vegetation in some particular area, and you want to get you want to do it without fussing over it a whole bunch. Or maybe you want to kind of make bushes way back here. That might seem kind of detailed. I think I'm going to make it I'm going to use it over here a bit. And I'm going to add in a little bit of green. And then you can always, once you kind of get your fiber mosh started, mishmash, whatever you want to call it, you can always go back and add detail where you want. What has Anne got a new needle for me?
38 star.
Okay, so I'm going to use a 38 star for this. And what you can do is, while you're tacking them down, is go ahead and give it a twirl here and there, so that things kind of take on a little bit different shape, if you will. This is not designed for things to be completely flat. This might be fun in like a coral reef. Like I said, maybe in a flower garden, we should make up a hot one. And this is maybe on, beach dunes or something. Like right here, I'm just trying to get a little bit of texture. Neps are notoriously kind of fussy, and people are always wondering how to hold them down. So if any of your design elements aren't really doing what you want to do, then you can take a tiny bit of MC1 and put it right over the top. So this is just kind of a quick way to get down some color and texture, and then you can go back and add whatever you want. Like you might have a tree, you know, you might put your tree in before or whatever.
And what needle are you using?
This one is a 36 star, y'all just gave me, right? A 36 star. So,
36 triangle?
oh, is it a triangle? Let me see. It is a triangle. Confirmed. Okay, let me put in just a suggestion of a tree here. Is this my dark brown? And maybe what we'll do is we'll go ahead and put our some of our hot tones and make a fall tree just right on this piece. So this is just MC1 in a dark brown, and I'm just going to kind of start a tree right here. Without, y'all forgive me, I haven't drawn this tree. I haven't thought about this tree. We're just putting a tree.
And what are neps?
Oh, neps are 100% wool. The neps that we sell are wool that are felted. They're like little felted bits. So one of the things you'll notice when you start working with neps is that sometimes you'll notice maybe even a little more vegetable matter in the neps. And the thing to know about neps is they are a byproduct of carding, especially fine fibers, and they are actually little felted bits of wool. Some fine fibers are so fine that the carding process actually causes them to kind of ball up, and that's what they are. So they're just little bits of wool. So since they're already felted, they are difficult to felt. Like your needle might poke into it and then it wants to kind of stick on your needle. So that's why trapping it down with a little bit of wool can be really helpful. Now all I'm doing is just winging a tree here. I am not the most... One thing I notice about, I think, some artists that we seem to maybe really admire is they're really good students. You know, especially like of nature. Like every time Bob is talking about something, mountain, tree, whatever, you can tell that he's really observed it. Maybe they're really good observers. And I think that I'm not a trained observer. So, you know, if you're worrying about your trees, you might just take some pictures of trees and, you know, kind of go from there. Hi, Sharon says she's almost afraid to comment. Why?
Yep, it's just Facebook is still having some issues, so.
Is that right?
Yep.
Well, thank you all for being here and bearing through the issues. We record this for Facebook. So today, all we're really looking at, we're not really looking at how to do a landscape or anything like that. All we're really looking at is an idea that you might explore that I'm just calling fiber mishmash, which is to blend fibers and use them to add, you know, texture and color without having to fuss over it. It's kind of a quick add of texture and color. So
Pat shares, I love drawing with wool. It's so forgiving because you can pull it up if you don't like it.
that is so true, Pat. You're so right. And anyway, isn't this fun? I mean, I know some people make their living, you know, selling their art, and but I hope that if it's anything, it's fun to do. You know, even if whether you make your living at it, or you do it as gifts, or you do it for hobby, or both, I hope it's fun. So that's what today we're just, okay, now that looks kind of like a little bit of a bare tree. I'm fine with that. I might add a branch sticking. I know branches should probably cross over, like one could be sticking up here too. I could fuss over this for hours. But what we want to do is let's make some hot fiber mosh. I know it doesn't have to be hot. It could be green, but I think the hot tones are kind of fun. So here's what Anne brought me. I'll just overlay that for a second. Is this really, really hot collection. So let me start pulling some of these in. I'll just move over a pinch. I'm going to move this guy over and take my greens out. Okay. So I'm going to start with some of the locks in this bundle. Fire, Autumn Ember. Autumn Ember. I'm going to take some of the real hot ones in there. And y'all chime in. I'd like to hear maybe what you're working on, or any questions you have or ideas you have for this same concept that we're working on.
That Hot Tones collection is getting lots of love.
Yeah, now that's not a bundle, but gosh, you can just pick out anything in there that you want. Everything is available a la carte, which is fun, so you can get exactly what you want. And we will do our best at the end of the YouTube version of this to post links and to give this little video a page. I'm going to drop some bright yellow neps in there, because why not? I mean, there's always some really kind of super bright tones in a fall landscape. And I know that often putting in some, these are pumpkin, I think, neps. I know that often in a fall landscape we might tend to go towards a colder sky, but we don't have to, right? I mean, this is another viscose. What do we call this color, Anne?
That is Sunshine Tessa Silk.
Oh, Sunshine Tessa. Feels like, you see, you can hardly tell the difference when you're holding it. So what's fun about some of these is some of these are going to give you texture, and some of these are going to give you texture and sheen. So here's some Sari Silk Waste. Just delicious. You can't, don't avoid it. Get some, and you're going to figure out stuff to do with it. It's cluster, it's sticky, it's beautiful. It's zigzaggy, it's webby. I'm going to throw in, a couple of dots of red, because I can't resist. We got to have some red in there. And what else? I have a lot of gold in there. Let me get some orange in there. I'm destroying these beautiful fibers Anne brought me. I'm going to bring some shiny orange. What was this orange that you brought in, Anne?
That orange is marigold viscose.
Marigold viscose. Okay. And now I better get some wool in here. So this is just, now you don't have to mix them all together. You could put all your yellows together and all your oranges together or whatever. It's totally, you're the boss. But I just want to encourage you not to be afraid. I tell you what, I'm gonna throw in a hanky, and then we're gonna add some wool. Is this pumpkin?
It is.
Pumpkin. There you go. Delicious.
Anne shares that she's working on a scene of Acadia Park on the Maine coast.
Acadia Park. I'm not familiar with it. Where is, the Maine coast. Which one's the Maine? As in primary, I'm like, which one's the Maine coast? Oh yeah, Marie's had a day. Oh, that's funny.
Karen shares that she's working on a nano-felted scarf with a vintage sari.
Oh, that sounds beautiful. Just for a second, I'm going to show this tree in here. So this is, how that idea started. This one I just mixed only a whole bunch of oranges, and then went back and added the deepest oranges, and then went back and added some of the golds. But today I'm just mixing it all together and going forward with this idea. And the tree's going to kind of go this way. So this is the idea, and let's see.
Ooh, a lot of folks are posting that they're excited to see how this turns out, that they've never cut up their fiber before, and it's a new exciting adventure.
Good. I'm glad, because I did just kind of wing it, and it semi-worked. As long as you don't mind something textured, that's kind of what you get with this, is it's, something a little bit textured. Now the wool, remember, a little bit of MC1. MC1, for those who don't know, is our signature batting. It is wool made here, grown on U.S. farms here in the States. It is processed into a batting. It's about 25 micron. It's a really short, crimpy staple, and what that allows you to do is pull off little tiny bits, tiny, make great blends, add lots of details, and wet felt, needle felt, whatever. Okay, so here's my fiber mosh of my hot tones for my fall tree, and I always feel a little exposed pulling this out. Like, what if I don't pull it off? What if you don't love it? Okay, so the thing about this, it just depends on how clustered you want your tree to be. So like when I did the tree, I did it in parts rather than in great big globs like the bushes or whatever, because I didn't want it to be too full, and then went back and added some later. So I'll just start with like this little cluster here. And then you can just add little bits on top of that. I am using the 36 triangle. A 36 triangle is a semi-fine needle. So it is in the medium zone, but it's semi-fine. So it's not too coarse. It will get these things to grab down. And you don't have to needle felt it, you know, through to the next continent to start. You can just tack it on and see, do you like it? So I'm going to cluster some fibers down. Now that I have the first ones on, I'm going to let some kind of drop to the ground a little bit, and that might add some dimension, you know, a bit of depth to our piece. And I'm just going to drop some on. Anne's just going to interrupt me with whatever brilliant things that you all have to say.
Sarah just says, love that orange tree.
Oh. Now there's probably inner branches. You can always, you know, you can add the foliage or add the leaf matter and then come back and add branches if you want after. And you can darken it anywhere you want.
When you're making your fiber mishmash, what's the ratio of wool to embellishment fiber?
I have no ratio. I think that I probably almost, in this case, I probably almost put equal parts. I did, yeah. I was just kind of, because I want the shiny and I want the texture of the other stuff, so I didn't want to drown it out with wool. And I think that it's just going to be preference, just personal preference. Let's get some stuff right down here on the ground. And look, some of these little bits that I have are the locks that I cut. And when I was coming up with this idea, that's what I was struggling with. I didn't want to fuss over dropping little leaves to the ground, you know, micromanaging every little leaf. I just wanted it to kind of get on there. So there, I have like a draft, and that's kind of how I work, y'all. I just am going to stick it on there, and then I'm going to go around and just tack it down. So this is a super quick texture. We'll see how these neps are sticking to my needle right here. So what you can do is drop the nep down, take a little bit of what is wool, trap it right over the top, just enough so that you can still kind of see it, and then you can needle the wool and trap down the neps.
Margie shares, I will never throw away bits again.
Oh yeah, and then we have, you know, you can also make kitchen sink bats if you have carders, hand carders, or a little drum carder. Kitchen sink bats are super fun, and you could just use them as core. You don't even have to use them, you know, for an outside of anything. If you feel like you're not anchoring your stuff down, try either a coarser needle or a more fine needle. Whatever your challenge is, just switch up your needles a little bit and see if that helps.
Marjolaine shares, I'm absolutely loving this. I've never managed to achieve this kind of effect before, and now I know how to do it.
Oh, that's so sweet. I'm always so glad if this is helpful. I really am, because I'm just playing. I hope you guys will have fun, you know, with it too. This is really a simple, easy process, and I think, you know, with some of these wispy fibers, you can get some, even like some movement in the tree, if you know what I mean. Can kind of, it's because you're not thinking about it all, you know, because you're not thinking about every little piece. It's like the fibers just guide you on where to cut them.
What's a kitchen sink bat?
Oh, I call them a kitchen sink bat. Like if you saw this little, my crayon box here that I have, when some of these just get too small and I'm not patient with them anymore, or I don't want to dig them out, then I just run them through my drum carder and make little bats with them. And you can use them for core wool or anything that speaks to you. I think I need to drop this down a little bit here. And so, okay, so this is my super quickie fall tree. I'm sure that I could sit and fuss over placement, where to put and where not to put fiber, and landscape artists are, probably have lots of ideas to improve upon what I've done. But I just want to encourage you all to have fun. Don't shy away from the bling bits if you're a needle felter. This is one thing you can make with the bling bits. And now I want to, I'm going to look at something else too. I want to show you another little picture that I made. Okay, so do we like our fall tree? Are we okay with this little?
Oh, we are in love with this fall tree.
Oh, I'm
Lindsay
so glad.
shares. Marie, thank you so much for sharing so many new ideas. Robin shares, this is wool therapy.
Oh, you guys are amazing. I think if I'm having a rough day, I should just dial you all up. Okay, I'm going to tack these in because I didn't want to see so much trunk. And that is our Hot Tones Fiber Mishmash. We will, on these Hot Tones, we will list a supplies list of all the things that were shared in these two color groups. But I want to show you another picture idea and see if y'all might like to tackle that in another I don't know, another felting session together. Is there anything I should address before I change what I've got here, Anne?
No, we are good.
Okay. Okay, so yay, fall tree. Thanks for doing that, and I hope y'all share that in our group, LivingFelt Friends, if you make one. So let me pull that out. Now here's another little guy that I was working on, and this is inspired by a painter, and I just loved the idea of doing, like a little full moon and a silhouette in front of the full moon. This right here is just a mixture of wool and tussa and sari silk waste, just like I showed you already. So where's my, I'm already out of my mishmash. Now, if you want I just let mine go every direction. But if you really want your, grass or whatever to only go up, then you can still sort of mix it on your canvas if you want to. So you can still cut it, like you don't have to work with the whole length. And that's the one thing I want to encourage you to think about is building layers and building textures and cutting your fibers and just playing with these things, because it's so rich and can add so much to your piece beyond just being flat. And you can felt them flat even if you add these bits in. But it's something beyond wool. So that was, I think, the viscose or tussa. This is the sari silk waste. Locks are pretty common, to bring in. My neps kind of match, so that's may not stand out as much as I like. But here, this is just wool, so you don't have to use the whole lock. It doesn't always have to be such an obvious lock. Cut it, separate it, spread it out, and add some texture to your piece as well as color. Let it be variegated. What do you got, Anne?
Okay, everyone loves the kitty. Seriously, get love. Let's see. Linda asks, what did you use as a base for the kitty picture?
Okay, this is just our 100% wool felt, and I cut it into, I think that's like a 12 by 12 square. I wanted a size that was a little bit bigger than an 8 by 12. Yep. So that's all it is. It's just our 1 millimeter 100% wool felt. That's all it is. Mm-hmm.
Kathy asks, how did you do the cat?
That was freehand. So if y'all want to do that, that's just MC1. So this in the back is all MC1 batting. This down here is a bit of fiber mishmash. And the cat I just did freehand on top of the moon. Cat over the moon. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Y'all want to make this picture?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll make this picture another time together. It's super easy. I'll draw out the kitty, so if you want to, you can download it and you can make the same size. And we'll have to list out all the colors that you need. But this is super easy to do. And why don't I tell you what, we can make this guide together next week if our guests don't have a whole bunch of show and tells, because we're hoping to have some friends come next week. So we'll just take one final look here. This is what we made today, is our little fall tree. And I know that y'all, this, like the background, I just, winged the background. We can do a landscape together sometime if you want, just to play with. But this is what we made today, is our little fall tree with the fiber mishmash. And I hope that you'll make one too and share it in our group, LivingFelt Friends. We are going to turn up the cameras, and I'm going to share just a couple of upcoming projects with you guys. So let's do that. I am going to, oh look, Marie can control her cameras now. It's a new day here. It's a brand new day. We, for those of you who have been with us for a while, for those of you who are new, you don't know any different. You probably just don't care. But for those who have been with us for a while, we started streaming, in 2017 and January 2017, and have worked through our technology challenges over time. And now this is the first time we're streaming not on my phone, which is like, woohoo, yay, yay day. Okay, so I want to show y'all a couple of more projects. I will endeavor to make this with you next week, and we'll tell you what those supplies are. So just think about your backgrounds. Next week we have Pam DeGroot is coming from Australia to teach 3 days of dimensions and textures. I'm so excited, and some of our very good friends are coming into town as well to take the class. And one of them, we're even going to be shooting a wet felting video for our soon-to-be online school. So that's all I'm going to tell you about that right now, is that it's coming. Some of you know that we shot Kiyoshi last month, I guess it was, and we'll be letting you know more about that this fall, a way that you can take online workshops that are more involved. They don't have to be more advanced. Most of them are, but they're more involved online if you're not able to travel and take classes. So if our guests don't come just like laden with show and tells, then we'll plan to make this little kitty next week. And I want to show you a few more projects that I'm hoping to share with you this year. And one of them, he's just kind of been hanging out over here. Has he been off camera? Okay. He's been off camera. So, he's not plugged in? Oh, I'll have to plug him in. Let me see. Let me see if I can plug him in. What do you got, Anna?
Let's see, our friends are so excited for doing landscapes, more 2D,
good.
We're all about it.
Okay, good. Okay, so I call this guy Night Owl, and this was one of the projects that I came up with for you all to do with us on Woolly Wednesday this year. So can I just see a stream of hearts if that's of interest, if you would like to make something like Night Owl? It would, I'd be glad to do that with you. What do we think, Anne? I'm going to have to, I lost my connection to you guys here.
See, it just, oh my goodness. Can you see this?
Oh, is that good? Okay, so Night Owl is a wet felting project, and I think it's super fun. It would be such a great kid's gift, and I'm sure you could come up with lots of different critters to make, but that's what I call him, is Night Owl. And you might have an old salt lamp base, an old low, wattage lamp type base. I got an IKEA nightlight, so underneath, so I just want you to plan ahead. You can get these now. They're like, $16 or something from IKEA. And it was actually an owl, funny enough. Even though, but I didn't know that until I went there. But this is what it looks like. And this is a separate one that we'll do another time. It's super, super simple. Would be great to do with kids, but it's a little distorted from being in my bag. But it glows really nicely, and it's a little different. So I think we'll do Kitty first, and then we'll endeavor to make this guy. He weighs less than 2 ounces of fiber. It's a wet felting project, and it's oh so easy. So if you want to make this with me and you've never wet felted, please go to our YouTube channel, subscribe. Watch the pancake lesson where we teach you how to just wet felt a flat piece of fiber, just plain. We also have wet felting over a vessel, which will kind of get you started and cut your teeth on the super simple projects. But this is super simple too, and anyone can do it. I will prepare the template to share with you so that you can download the same exact one I did, and it will fit the IKEA nightlight. And the one that I bought was actually a big, tall, conical shaped owl. But they just have great lights, and it's an LED light, and just be perfect for a nightlight. So we will do that, I hope, in a couple of weeks, and we'll post that. Oh, how interesting. We lost, there it was. We lost focus for a second. So that's all we have for today, y'all, but we're going to give away prizes, so stick around. We're going to bring the fairies back in, and I just want to say thank you so much for spending this time with us. It's always fun, and I apologize for those who the feed was kind of a problem, and we'll just see if there's anything we can do on our side to help dial that in and make it a little bit better. Was it better, I'll ask here at the end of the show, was it better over time? Did it tend to stay up? Let me see a round of hearts if it stayed up a little bit after a while. Janlyn says, what was the MC1? Okay, that was already answered. Very good. Hey, if we didn't answer your questions, and it's super important, y'all can call us. Our number is 877-665-5790. We are here Monday through Saturday till 4 p.m. Central. We open at 9 Monday through Friday and 10 on Saturdays. You can also reach out to us. It's best if you go to the Contact Us at the bottom of our shopping cart, because that way we can have an ongoing conversation that anyone can pick up who's ever working the customer service communication and that moment. So here's all the fairies. Y'all come back. Let's give away some prizes. This is one of our favorite parts.
There we go. We got to see Ian's.
Aww, it makes the gal feel special.
You want to go first? Yes, I'll go first. The first winner today is Roxanne Bowman McKinney.
Hi, Roxanne. You win an assortment of embellishment fibers like Marie used for today's project.
So it's like a pick any three, or you have a recipe?
Pick any three.
Pick any three embellishment fibers. Woo, so that's under our Luster and Luxury fibers, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Cool, I'll take them in. Mm-hmm.
Kayla?
Yeah, I'll give it a shot. Oh. Sarah Longworth.
Yay, Sarah!
Sarah, you win an MC1 studio pack.
Oh, that's fun.
That's a good one.
Yeah, so Anne pulled out the fall, but we have, how many, 10 of these? 10 different MC1 packs. You can pick any one. So, yeah, let us know which one you want.
Awesome.
Thank
cool.
you.
And do you want to?
Sure. Really twist my arm there, huh? Susan Falloon.
Yay, Susan!
Susan, you win needle felting a fairy tale pumpkin kit.
Woo-hoo! That's one of my favorites.
It's a lot of fun.
You can pick one big fat pumpkin or a couple of little ones. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's just a little different than your average pumpkin kit because we show you how to make it super firm and with lots of dimension. So that's a really fun kit. Hey, y'all, we'll link to all these goodies at the end in the description and below. And yeah, thank you all so much for being here with us today. We just want to wish you a super great week.
Thank y'all.
And stay cool wherever you are.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Bye, guys. Thank you.